and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Once again, you see no reference to be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth. You see no reference to the image of God pertaining to Adam and Eve. You see the image of God pertaining to the 126, 127 creation, the creation of mankind, which did not have a name. In this particular instance here, yes, Adam, and it's the same name. It's the same Hebrew word. Let me bring the interlinear up again. It's the same Hebrew word for man as Adam, which is right here from 119. It's the same as in Genesis 1:27, but here in the reference, I believe it is talking about mankind because the species, because it's male and female. Right here, male and female, created he them. Okay. And God blessed them and said unto them, this cannot be just a spirit unless God is speaking to a spirit, and he's giving commandments to the spirits to be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. Spirit? I don't know if that's true. So anyway, let's continue on. So we have the creation in Genesis chapter 2, where we have Adam and Eve created once again. There's no reference to image and image of God. Once again, you'll have 127 and then 9:6. I'll get to how 9:6 ties in. Well, I'll tell you now. It says, Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man. Once again, mankind, because he's not talking about a man. Is he saying that you can kill a woman but you can't kill a man? By whoso shedded man's blood, that's mankind. By mankind shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he mankind. This is not a reference to male or female. This is talking about murder in general for the entirety of mankind. So that's cool saying that, because once again, the original creation was created in the image of God. Let's go back and look. So once again, looking at that word image, we have also another story in here. Cain. Okay. So when we get to Genesis chapter 4, we look at Cain, and we look at the reference and the things that that Cain told God. All right. So once again, it is my contention, my belief that the creation of the species in Genesis 127, they populated and they spread out. We got to understand that Eden was a place, and then there was a garden that was placed in eastern Eden. So it was the Garden of Eden, the garden in the land of Eden. But the land of Eden had other inhabitants. Okay, let's flesh this out in scripture. Okay, so we have here the process of time, Genesis 4, of Cain and Abel. Okay, and Adam knew his wife, Eve. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain. And she said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Process of time, it came to pass. Most of us know that this culminated in the murder of Cain killing Abel. And this is recorded in verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And the Lord said to Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the land. Now listen to what Cain said to God. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from thy face of the earth, from thy face of the earth, from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, just like he told you you would be. Okay. I was looking for it there. Okay. Because he told you that in verse 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. And so that's what he says here. I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. How can someone find him if there's nobody existing? How can someone find him and slay him if it's just his mother, his father, his brother, and him? He just killed his brother, so now it's just his mother, father, and him left. So this statement would not make any sense if there were not other people around and people capable of killing him. So verse 15 says, and the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold, and the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. So once again, that's a reference to the creation of 127 being obedient, going forth and multiplying and occupying other territories, further fleshed out by scripture as we continue. Verse 16. We're in Genesis chapter 4. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. Remember, he's still in the land of Eden. He's just expelled from the garden, which is in the Eden. But he's still in the Eden. There are other references and cultures that reference that time and the place in the world called the Eden. Anyway, east of Eden, verse 17, and Cain knew his wife. Where did his wife come from? I contend to you that his wife came from mankind, the original creation that was created in the image of God. Those in Genesis 1:27, because remember, there's no reference to the image of God in the creation of Adam or Eve. It's implied. We imply that, but it is not written black and white. I'm showing you some stuff that's written black and white. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived. Where did this woman come from that's old enough to, number one, be married and old enough to bear children? Okay. And then so it says, and he bare Enoch, and he built it a city. Okay. Now look at this. How many of you can build a house by yourself? How many of you can build a housing complex by yourself? Well, then how can you build a city by yourself if there weren't other men there, able-bodied individuals to assist you in the construction and the labor of building a city? So he says, and Cain knew his wife, she conceived, bare Enoch, and he built a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And unto Enoch was built Irad, and Irad begat Methuselah, and Methuselah begat Methuselah, and Methuselah begat Lamech. I'm reading this for a purpose. And Lamech took unto him two wives, the name of the one Ada, the name of the other Zillah. And Ada bare Jabal. He was the father of such that dwell in tents, and of such that have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artifice of brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Okay, that's why I read that. Naamah is believed to have been very, very crucial in the extending of the bloodline of the original creation so that the statement of being created in the image of God could still be continued. However, I think that was severed and corrected or atoned for in the New Testament. Romans 8 about being conformed into the image of his son. I'm going to show you why that might be necessary. Okay? Because if you're already in the image of God, why do you need to be in the image of his son? Okay, we know you're talking about, oh, it's a spiritual change. Okay, but I'm talking to you physically right now. Okay, so we're looking at black and white on scripture. If you have a Bible, it'll be saying something similar if you have a different translation, but we're just looking at this black and white and we're just examining the Bible. Okay. Um, so Neama, very important, okay, because it is said that, well, I'll wait till we get to that, to Neama. Okay. Um, so we can stop right there. Now we can go and we're talking about the image of God. Once again, we're at this point where Cain's being kicked out of the garden. Now we have Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel. God expelled Cain. So now it's Adam and Eve. We continue for, I guess I'll finish this off. Nehemiah, verse 23. And Lamech said unto his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man. Once again, where did these people come from? Where did someone come from Lamech to kill, unless there was other populations and folks growing? Slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. In Adam, verse 25, once again, you see these symbols here that symbolizes a total change in thought and maybe time and location and everything else. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son and called his name Seth. For God said, she hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. Okay. So once again, we have Seth, and Seth is going to be very crucial as we go to this next chapter.